welcome to Turn the Page, the official podcast of the Syosset Public Library.
Hello and welcome to Turn the Page podcast. I'm Meghan, one of the children's librarians here at Syosset Library, and I am thrilled to have Anna Kang and Christopher Weyant on today's podcast. They need no introduction. They are award-winning author and illustrator duo of books such as You Are Not Small, which won the Theodore Geisel Award from the American Library Association, and 11 other books for children. And one of their other recent books, Eraser, won the Christopher Award. So we are going to discuss their new book today, SO-HEE and LOWY, which is equally a fantastic book, and I can't wait to delve into that with you. SO-HEE and LOWY is the story of a young girl living with her mother in a city urban-like atmosphere, and she's really trying to find herself in the world and find friendships, and it's just a beautiful story. So I can't wait to discuss that with you today. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
So I was just wondering, can we maybe learn a little bit about it? Like, what made you want to become writer and illustrator?
I guess I was always writing since I was very young, 7 or 8, I think. I was always writing. I really loved stories. I loved comic books. I loved TV shows. Anything that was a story or a world, I was very interested in. Secondly, I loved imagination play and pretend play. That was probably the predominant way I played as a child. And I think it was a natural progression as I got older. I got into writing and filmmaking and storytelling. So I think this children's book writing was just another step, an extension of all of those things. And I've always been a big fan of children's books, even as an adult. Then when Chris and I had children of our own, our firstborn was a voracious reader. So we read everything, and we went to the library every single day, took out hundreds of books, and she read all of them. And we got an education in more updated education in children's literature. And that just, it just, I think was just natural. I one day said to Chris, we could do this. We should do this. I feel like we can. And that's how it started.
That's just amazing. Like reading so many books and then formulating your own stories. Like, what is the process of like going from, do you do the writing first, or does the illustrating come first? Like, what's your process like?
Well, for me, and when Chris and I work on a book together, because sometimes Chris will illustrate other authors' work, the manuscript will come first, but then Chris will give me feedback with his visual perspective and any notes and story beat notes. And then when I'm finally done with many, many revisions and it's the editor's happy and everyone's happy, then Chris does his chapter with this entire book on his own.
Yeah, and when I get to, by the time it gets to my hands and I'm illustrating it, then I also will, Anna gets to see it. But this is the benefit of us being author and an artist in the same household and that we're married, is that I can just take it upstairs to her and say, okay, what do you think of this? Or when we're doing character design, Anna weighs in, and so it becomes this kind of something that we both get to work on, we know what's coming, which is nice. That's
so great. And everything just flows so well in this new book that you just wrote, SO-HEE and LOWY. Like, just the writing and the illustrating, just it meshes so well together. Like, I really imagine like this city atmosphere, and I love the character of SO-HEE. She has like a lot of allergies, and I just love the idea of like she can't have like, oh, you're thinking a traditional pet like a dog or a cat. And she finds this snake that she really bonds with, and I thought that's so cool that it's a snake. Like, that was really different and interesting, and the snake has so much character to it.
Thank you for that, because I think it was a choice, a specific choice, because kind of easy to love a cute puppy or a rabbit or something like that. And I thought it would be so much more interesting, in my opinion, if it was an animal that usually repels people and frightens people and has a negative stereotype associated with them. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if they're both very similar in that they're both a little bit of outsiders, So-HEE and Lowy, and how nice that they could come together and bring out the best in each other was the
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful and sweet story. And it's the year of the snake this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So to tie that in. And so he has Asian American heritage. So that's wonderful for, to incorporate that into the story.
yeah.
That was
That was
great.
a really great coincidence, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're the snake luck, but
yeah, Year of the Snake luck, and the fact that yes, she's supposed to be Korean American, and that actually in May is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So that was a really nice also coincidence. So we're really happy about that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so that was just a coincidence with the state. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't really see like this snake has so much character. Like as you're looking through the book, like it climbs around like lampposts, it like chills out, like
And that's really
at the
says
park.
a lot about Chris because he does all that. So he does
Yeah.
his own storytelling. After I'm done with the verbal storytelling, Chris does it visually. And it's not in the book necessarily, but Chris creates Loey's character visually. He really does
Right.
all the expressions and movement.
Yeah. But the written word with what I always find so strong in your stories is like it doesn't have to be so much. Like you don't have to write so much on the page to get so much meaning across. Like
Hmm.
If you
it's
have
like
a very talented illustrator, absolutely.
I was gonna say the opposite. I would say what I love about Anna's right. I'm a big fan of Anna's. So
yeah.
and no surprise. But if that her stories can be taken on this, they have this just like You Are Not Small. They can have a one way of approaching the story, and then there's all this other depth, just like she was describing how these are both two outsider characters in So-HEE and Lowy, and it makes it so much more fun when you're drawing it and you're illustrating because there's all the subtext, that you can
Yes.
and that kids can also come back to it and teachers and librarians can come back to it many different ways depending upon how you want to use the book or with what audience you have.
Oh, definitely. And this would work with so many different age groups because I could see the kids loving like one of my favorite pages is like your snake is on the loose and it says and then snake and then that's like my favorite like just with the right and then you just visually see the snake like all wrapped all through the apartment building. Like that was so great. It was so funny. Like
No, thank you.
yeah, kids will get a kick even like from from being a funny book, but it's also really deep because it shows you like, be kind to one another and like try not to like somebody who seems like they might not, have a friend directly or leave, like look for the people that might feel like left out or, trying to join in with the group. Cause sure, a lot of kids have felt that way and it's hard to make that first step sometimes.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah. And I love that Loey escaping and becoming loose is what brings her building together and where she is really isolated from everyone and including her apartment building, as you'll see in the first few pages. And then the snake running loose it actually literally brings her to everyone's door
Yeah.
and connects them with them until she
Yes.
meets her friend, a new friend. And so I just love the idea that pets and animals and things you least expect can foster connection that's right there in front of you, and you don't even see it sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, our relationship with, animals, like it's very, deep and it brings us together with people. And like,
Mm-hmm.
that's yeah, that was great. Yeah, because that whole building, like, I feel like she didn't really know the people living in her building that were her neighbors, like all around her. And it really makes you think, like, you have to step outside sometimes and,
Mm-hmm.
take a risk, and like when we're growing up, like, you have to take risks to learn sometimes and
Mm-hmm.
try something new because then you're just going to fall into the same pattern of things. And I think so he was very lonely and she felt like, she was being left out or, an outcast before, she really took that step.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what's fun is that is, or for from my end, it was very fun is that she starts off Anna wrote her where she's in her window. Her first page, she's literally boxed in by her window sill. She's just in their window frame, and by the end, she's surrounded by the into everyone. It's a whole,
Right.
and so we go from this really tiny closed-in world to this expansive world, where she grew and they grew, and it's
Yeah, like the Lowy, the snake kind of melts that were separating neighbors right next door. So that, I think that's the heart of the book.
Yes, it definitely is the heart. And I love that you incorporated the nature too with it, like all the different plants and different things in the building too, because being in like an urban environment, I like that you still kept that relationship with like nature that, that they were always in some kind of nature, either outside or
Hmm.
the
I think
plants
no
like that.
matter where you live, whether
Yeah.
everyone has to carve out for themselves some beauty and nature. It's necessary for our mental health, and those tenants are no different. And I love that her new friend's mom is a
Yeah.
plant person, and therefore
Yes.
the motivator for Loie to go there to this apartment because it's
tropical
warm and
tropical paradise.
tropical and beautiful. And
Yes.
opens the door to SO-HEE.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, that was so nice when she meets that, friend in the story and like her friend has the tortoise.
Mhm.
It's so cute to see that with the snake.
Yes, that's actually a fun fact is that Chris and I used to own a African sulcata tortoise when we lived in Los Angeles, which is a much more warm climate than the East Coast. And so her name was Taxi, and she looked like that. So that was a little hat tip to our sweet
Our
Taxi.
beloved taxi.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so interesting.
she's a great animal.
Yeah, it's such a cute, like just heartwarming story. I just like loved it so much. And it was different in that this is, I think if I'm not mistaken, like the other stories I've read, they didn't have a human character. Is this your first or one of your first that has a human
Yes, it's the
character as a
first.
main?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the first. So I think I had been meaning to write a human character for a long time, and it just never happened for one reason or another. So we're thrilled that we could with this book. And I'm also thrilled I could make her Korean American because it's interesting, even me, when I think and sit and write stories or have my most of my life, I actually don't think of somebody who is underrepresented. I actually go oftentimes to a white character in my mind. And it just shows you just how I've been conditioned growing up in America to think characters in books are going to be white. And so even for my own stories, I do it to myself. So I actually had to do an override and say, wait a minute, why can't she be Korean American? I think it was considered not such a great idea several years ago. And so I was usually encouraged away from it in all the former writing jobs I had. So it was part of that. And so it was great that we could do it this way.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. Would you ever want to write another book with Sohee in it as the
Oh,
character? Because I
yeah.
loved her character so much and I could just see so many other stories. Like,
One
Mm.
one
Yeah.
thousand percent.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it would be a dream. It'd be terrific. She has so many possibilities of what she can do and where she can go with her friend or with her mom or in her community. I think it would be really great. I would love to.
yeah, I could just see like all her different city adventures, and now with the pets, like the another with Loey again, like going around, like that would just be so cool. Like to
Mhm.
see, I'm sure like a lot of people are gonna be interested in seeing, oh, like what other adventures might be next. Like I could just see like other
Could
stories.
ride the subway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to see like Loey, like all
In
like how
multiple
Loey would be
cars, right? You can go
much
through
in
like
the
five
summer.
cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Louis will get there first because
Yeah.
it's so long, then he'll get there to the next stop first.
Yeah. How long did it take you to complete this project? Like,
It took a while. I mean, But picture books take a while, a lot longer than one might think. The writing of it, I did in, I think, 2019.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and then our publisher acquired it in 2020, I think, 2021. And then, things are scheduled beforehand so that by the time Chris actually sits down and Chris can talk about that, he doesn't do it digitally. He actually paints every page with
Wow.
on paper, by hand. So that, when did that start? 2022, 2020? I
Yeah.
don't even, so 23 maybe. So yeah, it's not like we're sitting there continuously working on it during that period, but the entire process from beginning to end can take several years.
Yeah, this for me for the art on this one, it took a little longer. I was working on a book prior to it. We switched places. Is both through Two Lions and so one was going to come out first, and the other we swapped them for the time. And so this one took a little bit longer because there's just so much detail. These spreads of the apartment building and everything. There's just this when you're working, uh, you're putting in watercolor, it just takes a long time to do. So this probably took me maybe, I'm going to say 6 to 7 months
Hmm.
from beginning to end, from sketches to the end.
Yeah.
For all, yeah.
Well, yeah, I believe when you say you hand paint every pitch, because just looking at these illustrations, especially one of the pages with the bathroom curtains and how you got with like the steam from the bathtub and just all those different like color shades, it's just like, wow, that's like so detailed. To use watercolor, I feel like that's notoriously difficult to get like so precise.
Well,
Like,
you're right. You're absolutely right because that Steam part is digital. You're absolutely right.
oh,
It is because you could kind of like
yeah,
remove with Steam, but if it's so much easier, so I
yeah,
just the Steam part, and you've got a very good eye. And so I painted the entire scene a little lighter in certain areas, but then I would come in with just to get that steam, that really transparent,
yeah.
steamy feeling.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, it's very impressive.
it's-
No, I just noticed I was like, that was like, wow, like it's so detailed. Like all these, like even like every etch and like the steps that you get and like in the carnival, like all the different pieces of the merry-go-round, all the different lines and everything. Like it's just very, very detailed.
yeah, yeah, it was very fun to draw. It took a while, but there's so much, there's so many rich scenes there. They're just fun to come up with and kind of make this quasi city, something that's familiar and unique and in its own thing. And it was great to do.
So when the story's written, like when you're drawing, like coming up with like the sketches first, like when you have these ideas to go with the words, are they kind of like drawn not in the order of the story? Like, do you start with like the end? Like, what's the order that you would make the illustrations up with?
Well, once I get the script from Anna and it's been already edited and they've gone through all their changes with our editor, then I will do a dummy for my editor and for my art director and so and then that one you will go in sequence. And that's also getting the pagination down. So you'll create a black and white kind of very rough sketch of how this book is going to look, and then you also want it to be line up. So when you turn certain pages, if there's a big crescendo moment, you want to flip the page to a spread. So you have to kind of play with all the things that come before it. And then once that's all approved, and that takes a while to get that dummy right, where everybody thinks, okay, it's really working, then we can go to the color and so forth.
But how I think what's interesting is that when Chris does go to color, he'll do, let's say, yellow, 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 yellow for 30 pages or 32 pages, and then he does another. And so it's like it can be like an
Oh yeah,
assembly line
yeah, I can assembly line it.
so that he's not constantly switching back and forth between paint colors. He can just do it more
Yeah,
efficiently.
because I work in
Right.
water. Yeah, I work in watercolor, and anyone who's worked in watercolor knows that if you mix a batch today, tomorrow's batch may be very different. It might be more yellow or you had a little less water. So this way, you always have the same color throughout.
Yeah, wow. It's watercolor. Yeah, like I haven't it's a very distinctive style. Like I know when I'm looking at your artwork, like I could definitely tell it's very distinct. And even like the type, I love the type in this book that was picked out. Like it's very eye-catching, like especially for like a read aloud or a story time. Do you have to go through a lot of different fonts and type before you like settle on something that you really
Yeah. My art director will do all that, and they come up with so all that design of the font for the cover
Mhm.
and all that. That's all the art
Yes.
director's
And
job.
her name is
Abby,
Abby Deming.
yeah, Abby Deming.
Abby Deming is right.
Fantastic. Yep,
She,
she's remarkable. She does
yes.
everything. So she'll also do a lot of things like Abby will go through along with our editor Kelsey Ski. They will look for things like which I did have problems with where there's a flower pot in this window, but you forgot it when you drew it again.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a lot of those. This time there's a bunch of them. They had great eyes. So they do all this great behind the scenes work that really brings together the entire book, and one of which is picking a font that matches, and they go through several fonts. It takes a while to find the just
Yeah,
the right one.
and that for anyone's listening, that is what an art director, part of what their magic is that when they actually feel the fonts and say, okay, this is the feeling I'm getting from this book, and they will typeset. And so it is a part of the whole book
Yeah,
process,
really
but
important.
people don't realize that, and the continuity where it was winter time and Chris accidentally
Right.
drew SO-HEE in summer clothes, and it's the art director and the editor said, wait a minute, it's winter. It's why
Yeah,
Low-HEE escaped. It's because
that's
the
right.
Low-HEE was freezing, but you have her in summer. And Chris was like, oh my God.
A huge mistake where I had gotten so far and I forgot to like that it turned into winter, and I'm so used to drawing their clothes, I forgot to
Yeah.
put their winter clothes and snow on the street, and I had to go back. But thank God for
These are the
that.
things that they
Yeah, really.
notice.
I could, and I look at it so often you don't see it anymore. It's so
Right. It's just the details having to be consistent with that. Like, and it's just, yeah. And Lo, like, makes sense. Loey's a snake. So it's looking for
right.
the heat. So that's like
It's a
one part of
critical
the
part of the
story.
story. And
Yeah.
and for this audience, the thing is with picture books, kids are brilliant. They
Oh,
notice
they will
and they
notice.
will be
Yes.
like, as a librarian, they'll be like, well, why is there no snow? Why are they not
Yeah.
wearing jackets? It's supposed to be the
Yeah. Oh,
like
they notice immediately. They'll notice like something
yes.
is like, or you don't say something correctly. Like they'll notice immediately, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
really get into the story, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
But this would be so fun for a read aloud and story time. Like I can't wait to use it because it's such a great story. It's so visually eye-catching. It has a great message. It's not super long because in the library, like sometimes we are with a lot of the younger kids and they
Mhm.
can't sit for a super long story, but I think all ages, like even my nephew who's close to 10, he would enjoy this, like
Mm.
these kinds of like fun stories like this with the snake going all around the city.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have to let
Yeah.
us know
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this was such a great book. I so enjoyed reading it. And what I guess if we were going to end our discussion today, what do you hope that kids, adults, for them to get out of this story?
I would like readers of all ages to just, I guess, appreciate the value of connection, human connection, animal connection, and how important and vital it is to our well-being, and to not be closed off to forms it may come in that you may immediately feel afraid of or wary of. You might be missing a big opportunity there to have a really deep relationship, friendship with somebody.
Yeah, that's so true and deep. Oh, I know like so readers are going to so enjoy this story and it's coming out April 22nd is the release date or
Mhm.
we can
Earth
expect.
Day.
I'm
It's
sorry.
on, it's on Earth Day, which is
Oh, Earth Day. Oh,
yeah,
perfect. So that's wonderful. So this
yeah.
one really fits in with that
Hmm.
of appreciating nature and
Hmm.
finding that yes, it's oh that's awesome.
Yeah.
And also, and as we mentioned earlier, May is National Asthma and Allergy Awareness Month and also Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. So this book ties into so many different aspects of our world. And it's just, such an important read. So I was really pleased to have you both on the podcast today, Anna Kang and Christopher Weyant. It was a real pleasure. We're going to close this chapter today of Turn the Page. I'm Megan, your host, and we'll see you next time.
It's time to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Join us for the next episode.